Hello friends, welcome to yet another video. Recently, Global Hunger Index report was released where India was placed 94 among 107 countries that were evaluated. Before we discuss further on this, if you are viewing my channel for the first time, I request you to kindly view my previous posts and support my work by sharing and subscribing to my channel. Today, 1 in 10 people around the world suffer from hunger. The solution to this seems to be simple: provide food to the people who are in need of it. We can tackle hunger and global poverty and malnutrition, but it needs a holistic approach to have an everlasting impact. Each day, 25,000 people, including 8,000 children, die of hunger and related causes. Nearly 690 million people worldwide are estimated to be undernourished, and the high food prices may lead another 100 million into poverty and hunger. It is estimated that nearly 147 million children are suffering from stunting, and nearly 47 million children is suffering from wasting. Although hunger worldwide has declined since 2000, but in many of the places the progress has been slow, and in some of the places it has gone to worse. Even there are instances where in some countries it is severe. Moreover, these places are highly vulnerable to worsening food and nutrition insecurity caused by the overlapping health, economic and environmental crisis in 2020. Let us discuss more about GHI and the scenario that we have in India in this video. The Global Hunger Index is a tool that comprehensively measures and tracks hunger globally as well as by region and by country. The GHI is calculated annually, and every year a report is published in October. After declining since 2000, the hunger worldwide is declared as moderate. Many of the countries have shown improvement as compared to the report that was published, say, in 2000, but some of the countries have gone to worse. The report every year is published by an Irish NGO, Concern Worldwide, and German-based Welt Hungerhilfe. In 2006, it was first published, and the 2020 report is the 15th edition of this report. The 2020 report presents a multi-dimensional measure of national, regional and global hunger by assigning a numerical score based on several aspects of hunger. It then ranks countries by GHI score and compares current scores with past results. The 2020 report considers a One Health approach to linking health and maintainable food systems to achieve zero hunger by 2030. Every year, GHI scores are calculated to assess progress and setbacks in combating hunger and raise awareness among countries and provide a way so as to compare different regions as well. It also calls for attention to those areas and to those countries where hunger is the maximum, and also try to come out with solutions and to help those countries where hunger is the greatest. High-income countries and countries where there is very low population are not considered for this evaluation. The Global Hunger Index measures hunger on a 100-point scale, where 0 means no hunger and 100 means that there is extreme hunger. But in reality and in real practice, both these extremes are not reached. The severity of hunger associated with the range of possible GHS scores is what you can see in this chart. If it is less than 9.9, then it is considered as low. If it is between 10 and 19.9, it is considered as moderate. And if it is in between 20 and 34.9, it is considered as serious. India's point is 27.2, and India is in the serious category. And if the score is between 35 and 49.9, then it is considered as alarming. And if it is greater than 50, then it is extremely alarming. Now, how is this GHI calculated? It is calculated based on 4 indicators. First is the proportion of the undernourished among the total population. That is, this concerns with the calorie intake. Second is the proportion of the children under the age of 5 who is suffering from wasting. That is, the weight of the children is less as compared to their height, a sign of acute malnutrition. The third is the proportion of the children under the age of 5 who is suffering from stunting. That is, the weight is much lower as compared to their height. This is a case of chronic malnutrition. The fourth is the proportion of the mortality of the children under the age of 5. This is a mix of malnutrition and unhealthy environment. In 2020, data for GHI was taken from 132 countries which were eligible for inclusion. But GHI was calculated for only 107 countries based upon the data received from 2015 to 2019. Data for calculation of GHI came from published United Nations sources, that is Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations, World Health Organization, UNICEF, and Interagency Group for Child Mortality Estimation, the World Bank, and Demographic and Health Surveys. Of the 132 countries assessed, 25 did not have sufficient data to allow for the calculation of a 2020 GHI score. Hunger worldwide, represented by a GHI score of 18.2, was considered as moderate, down from the 2000 GHI score of 28.2, which was serious. Hunger varies enormously by region. In both Africa, south of the Sahara, and South Asia, hunger is classified as serious, owing partly to large shares of people who are undernourished and high rates of child stunting. Moreover, Africa has the world's highest child mortality rate, while South Asia has the world's highest child wasting rate. In contrast, hunger levels in Europe and Central Asia, Latin America, and the Caribbean, East and Southeast Asia, and West Asia are characterized by low or moderate, although hunger is high among certain groups within countries in these regions. According to 2020 GHI scores, 3 countries have alarming levels of hunger, namely Chad, Timor-Leste, and Madagascar. In 8 countries, hunger is also considered to be alarming, namely Burundi, Central African Republic, Comoros, Congo, Somalia, and Yemen. It is also based on provisional categorizations. Now, 26 countries were under moderate category. 31 countries came under serious category, including India, with a score of 27.2. 17 nations, including China, Belarus, Ukraine, Turkey, Cuba, and Kuwait, shared the top rank with GHI scores of less than 5, as per the website of the Global Hunger Index. Countries show wide disparities within their borders as different indicators of hunger and along several lines such as wealth, location, ethnicity, and sex. It is also pertinent to mention that child mortality in Africa is exceptionally high. In 2020, COVID-19 pandemic and the resulting economic downturn combined with a massive outbreak of desert locusts in Africa, resulting in severe insecurity in food and nutrition. Not only that, this also comes in addition to the existing hunger caused by conflict, climate extremes, and economic shocks. The GHI score in the 2020 report does not take into account or reflect these things, but they point out on the hotspots of the areas where severe malnutrition and food insecurity is going to happen, putting population at greater risk of acute food crisis and hunger in the future. The GHI report that was released in October last year has placed India in the 94th position among 107 countries, which is way below Pakistan, Bangladesh, Indonesia, and Nepal. India's score was 27.2 and is under the serious category. In 2000, India's score was 38.9 and was in an extreme hunger situation at that time. Even though the score has improved, but still the progress has been very low. India's rank was 102 among 117 countries in 2019. Out of the 107 countries, only 13 countries fare worse than India, including countries like Rwanda, Nigeria, Afghanistan, Liberia, Mozambique, among others. Now, if you see this graph, India's rank was 83 in 2000, 95 in 2005, and 102 in 2019. So there is not much improvement in the ranking. In fact, we also don't know how accurate the data collected is. Maybe the rank would be much worse. According to the study, 14% of India's population is undernourished. Now, if we have to compare with the performance indicators for the GHI score, the India score is, if you look at the undernourishment, from 2017 to 2019, 14% of India's population is undernourished, but it was previously 16.3%. Now, if you look at the child wasting, it is 17.3% from the previous figure of 15.1%. That means there is an increase in child wasting. If you look at the child stunting criteria, it has improved significantly and is around 34.7% from 54% in 2000. Child mortality, it is 3.7%, and in 2012 it was 5.2%. Experts think that it is because of the poor implementation process, lack of effective monitoring, and siloed approach in tackling malnutrition and poor performance by large states that has resulted in India's low ranking. What is needed is an integrated approach and an integrated action plan to make public health and nutrition a priority in each sector. Some other experts believe that it is due to food scarcity and a lack of distribution, but in reality, India is exporting food grains to other countries. Even at the time of releasing of the GHI report, India had nearly 70 million metric tons of food grains in various warehouses in the Food Corporation of India. So the question or the argument that there is a scarcity in food in India is not justifiable. But yes, of course, there could be a lack of poor distribution system, which is internal and which can always be taken care of. But food scarcity should not be an issue. Food is enough to ensure that no one goes hungry. Data from 1991 through 2014 shows that stunting is concentrated among children from households facing multiple forms of deprivation, including poor dietary diversity, low levels of maternal education, and household poverty. Now, another issue is the under 5 mortality, driven largely by deaths from birth, asphyxia or trauma, neonatal infections, pneumonia, and diarrhea. However, child mortality caused by prematurity and low birth weight increased particularly in poorer states and rural areas. And this is because of early marriage and social issues. This has more to do with societal problems. So what can be done to prevent hunger? Some of the points could be more and more crops should be grown by the farmers with support from the union government. The government may create provisions to supply nutritious food to vulnerable sections of the society. Rural employment schemes should be given a boost to increase wages of the farmers. Many of the farmers and organizations who are working in this have always said that the wages should be incommensurate with the Minimum Agricultural Wage Act. Safeguarding and promoting access to nutritious, safe and affordable diets. Scaling up services so that wasting and stunting can be identified at an early age, and providing nutritious food to children in schools. Early marriages should be avoided because when a girl gets married at an early age, their body mass index, that is the BMI, is very low. Nearly 25% of girls are married before the age of 18 years. In fact, education should also be given on sex, usage of contraceptives, and also provide for a stress-free life. Anything that affects women should be taken care of because the whole focus should be on healthy mother. If the mother is healthy, obviously the child will also be healthy. Poor sanitation should also be taken care of so that child stunting and child wasting can be either avoided or reduced drastically. The issues of hunger could also be reduced if the per capita income of the country increases and also when there is population control. If we have to really see an improvement in India's ranking, then populated states of the country such as Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh needs to be really looked into. The overall average or the overall proportion of the ranking gets affected because when the highly populated states have heavy malnutrition and child deaths, this really affects India's ranking. While the 2020 GHI report does not reflect the COVID-19 pandemic effect, but it really shows that the situation is really a matter of concern and it is going to worsen in the years to come. The COVID-19 pandemic has already highlighted the fragility of our global food systems, the inequalities in the distribution, and the inadequacy of achieving the zero hunger by 2030. While the overall score shows it's moderate, but going forward, many of the countries are in the worst category, and many of them, nearly 37 of the countries, may not be able to achieve the levels of hunger by 2030. So the ambition of having a zero hunger by the year 2030 is going to be a long cherished dream. So what is crucial is to strengthen the data collection to gain a clear understanding and picture of food and nutrition security in every country so that actions can be taken to eliminate hunger as soon as possible. The near-term future will also test the world's capacity to respond to multiple crises simultaneously, that is health crisis, economic crisis and environmental crisis, and food security crisis, among others. With persistence and collective effort and with the available resources, the world can overcome these situations. Let's hope for the better. Hope the information has been useful. What you think about this, I would appreciate if you can send your views and thoughts on this. Thank you.